were 7 white guys that sounded black.
I remember the very first time they came on stage, people were like, oh, they're white.
I could be so happy.
The other black entertainers looked at us as a white group that really, really did black music well.
Be no stormy weather if I could hold it.
Gladys Knight, the Pipsy Impressions, Temptations, Four Tops, OJs.
You name it, anybody that was on Motown, we worked with A to Z.
Ladies and gentlemen, recording live from the stage of the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia, our blue-eyed soul brothers, the Magnificent Men!
I never knew the guys were white. When I first heard it, I thought, wow, what a great black group, what a great brass sound with that black sound, okay? Georgie Woods called me before they were in for the TV show and said, you're playing a record called Peace of Mind. Look, I'd like to put this group on my show at the Uptown Theater. We found out that the guys were white. And Georgie said, wait a second, Peter. You know, the Uptown, we feature black acts. I said, Georgie, music knows no color, no race, no creed. If it's good, it's good. It appeals to an ear, to all people. He said, you think it would work? I said, there's no question about it.
With the window.
The Chitlin Circuit, that's all the black theaters. Like you have the Howard Theater in Washington, the Apollo in New York City, the Regal, I guess, in Chicago. And the first theater we played was the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia.
The first time on the stage at the Uptown, the curtains were closed while we sat up. When the announcements made, huge noise. I mean, you know, we were #1 or #2 at the time down there on the radio station with Peace of Mind. And then the shock and disbelief when the curtains opened, and then just this great acceptance to see white guys. It shocked them, and they had to listen and recognize that we were what they had heard on the radio.
Love me so sincere that I believe you love me.
It was such a natural thing to play with those acts because that was our music. And you know, we just happened to be all white guys doing it.
There was no agenda other than to just be as good as we could be at doing the music we loved.
There are not many groups or performers that have the ability to sound black to appeal to all audiences. But these kids did, and I love these guys.
There was Motown that crossed over into Top 40, and they crossed over into urban. They were the first to do that. Who else did that? We weren't going to see Frankie Avalon or Bobby Rydell at the Uptown.
One time you said, this time for all time. But I'll find.
Capitol was a major recording label. And Capitol and the majors, even though rock and roll was very popular, were not releasing rock records. So when I heard this, I said, wow, on Capitol? So I knew something had to be there.
Oh, I thought it was a good break. It was a big label. String sections, more horns, and you were working with some powerhouse musicians there.
It was a feather in your cap to be on the same label as Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, you know?
It was gonna make me feel better.
Please, 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 please.
James Brown showed up one evening. He wasn't on the show, just to do a walk-on and get a cheer and all this kind of stuff. And I guess somebody asked him if he would do a couple of tunes.
He asked us if we knew any of his material, and we said, well, we know your whole one side of your Live at the Apollo Theater.
Now, first of all, that took a lot of balls for him to assume to walk on stage at the Apollo Midnight Show on a Saturday night with 7 white guys backing him up.
He was loose, and it just worked, and it was amazing.
I think it was Please, Please, Please. And Buddy and Dave and I was singing the background vocal, and he just kind of just turned around and looked at us and smiled, and the people went wild in the crowd.
Now you go home. This is called Peace of Mind.
Maybe we were just at the right place at the right time. You know, so many people can say that about their careers, but for us, considering the problems that were going on in the 60s with race relations, you know, to be accepted at the Uptown was one thing, but to go to the Apollo, I think the major part of our story that I think needs to get out is that we were accepted by black audiences, probably more than any other white band ever.
Although things that are rough will come, I've got tougher fun. Yes, I did.